Today, we're diving into one of the most exciting frontiers in machine intelligence, unsupervised learning. This is where AI stops being a student just, following an answer key and starts becoming a detective, discovering hidden patterns all on its own.
So picture this. You're handed a mountain of data, a massive, chaotic library where none of the books have titles, none are sorted by genre, there are absolutely no instructions. What do? Well, that is the exact challenge that unsupervised learning is built to solve. It's not about finding a specific answer you already know exists. It's about discovering the structure you never even knew was there.
To really wrap your head around what it is, it really helps to see what it isn't. So, on the left, you've got supervised learning. Here, the machine gets data that's already labeled. It's like being a student with an answer key. The whole goal is just to predict those answers correctly. But on the right, with unsupervised learning, that answer key is totally gone. The machine gets a jumbled mess of information and a much bigger task: find the hidden structure all by itself.
So the crucial point here is this. These algorithms are designed to find patterns, groups, and relationships without being told what to look for. It's basically a machine learning to see the world without a teacher, just identifying interesting knowledge by pure observation.
This slide gives us the perfect analogy. Just imagine dumping a huge bin of Legos on the floor. An unsupervised algorithm is like a system that just starts sorting them with zero instructions. It has no idea what a wheel is or a brick, but it can see that some pieces are round and others are rectangular, and it starts grouping them based on those similarities. It literally discovers the categories all on its own.
Okay, so when you really boil it down, unsupervised learning is usually trying to accomplish one of two things. It's either grouping similar items together, or it's finding hidden connections between them. Let's break down both of those.
So on one hand, we've got clustering, which is all about finding those natural subgroups in your data. And on the other, we have association analysis, which is about discovering hidden rules, like if somebody buys this one thing, they're probably going to buy another. Let's tackle that first mission.
So let's talk about clustering. This is where the machine acts like a digital organizer. It takes a chaotic, messy dataset and starts sorting it into these neat, logical piles, where everything in one pile is way more similar to each other than to anything in the other piles.
And this quote just nails it. The whole point of clustering isn't about proving a theory you already have. It's about pure, unfiltered exploration. You use this tool because you suspect there are patterns, but you have no idea what they are. It's all about that aha moment of discovery.
Let's make this real. Imagine you have data on university professors, right? And you plot them based on how many papers they've published in statistics versus computer science. At first, you just get a chart like this one, a big cloud of dots. At this point, it's just raw, unclassified data, a total mess.
But then you apply a clustering algorithm, and something amazing happens. The machine analyzes the positions of all those dots and discovers three distinct groups. One group has tons of stats papers but very few computer science papers, so we could call them the statisticians. Another is the complete opposite, the computer scientists. And then there's this third group that's strong in both, revealing the machine learning experts. The machine found these labels entirely on its own.
So how does machine actually do this? Well, a super popular method is called the k-means algorithm. The k is just the number of groups you tell it to look for, which honestly is one of the trickiest parts, figuring out that number. But once you pick k, the process is this really clever loop. First, you see step 1. It just randomly plops some starting points, we call them centroids, into the data. Then, step 2. Every single data point gets assigned to whichever centroid it's closest to. Step 3 is the magic. The algorithm finds the new center of each cluster and moves the centroid right to that spot. And finally, it just does it again and again. Assign points, move the center. Assign points, move the center, until the groups totally stabilize and the centroids stop moving. Okay, now for the second mission, association analysis. This isn't about grouping things together. It's about finding interesting relationships between them. It's all about uncovering those hidden rules that connect different items in your data. The classic example is something called market basket analysis. This is where retailers analyze shopping carts to find rules just like this one. People who buy bread and milk are also pretty likely to buy eggs. A simple rule like that can be incredibly powerful for stuff like store layouts and promotions. But, not all rules are created equal. We need to measure how strong they are, and we do that with two key ideas. First, on the left, is support. This basically just asks, out of all the shopping carts, how often does this combination of items pop up? Is it a common thing or just a weird one-time fluke? Then you've got confidence on the right. This asks a more specific question. Of all the times people bought bread and milk, what percentage of those times did they also grab eggs? A really powerful rule needs both. It needs to happen often, and it needs to be reliable.
So we have grouping and we have connecting, but why is this so revolutionary? Well, it's because these techniques let us transform messy, chaotic data into clear, actionable insights across pretty much any field you can imagine.
And I mean, the real-world applications are literally everywhere. Think about it. Segmenting customers for targeted ads? That's clustering. Spotting unusual credit card charges to detect fraud? Yep, that's finding anomalies. It's used in genetics to group genes and find links to diseases. And it's a core piece of technology we see every single day, like in face recognition and even in self-driving cars. So in the end, you can really think of unsupervised learning as a digital detective. It doesn't need a witness, it doesn't need a confession, it just needs the raw evidence, the data. And from that, it can piece together the story, finding clues, connections, and patterns that were hidden in plain sight the entire time.
And that leaves us with a really fascinating thought, doesn't it? With more data being generated every single day than ever before in human history, what other incredible insights about our world, our biology, our behavior are just sitting there, waiting for the right algorithm to finally uncover them? The age of discovery has really just begun.